many people think that moving to Sarasota is all about year-round sunshine, white sand beaches, and easy breezy living. But what if I told you there were things that real estate agents don't talk about that could really impact your decision on whether or not to make the move to Sarasota?
Spill the tea, baby.
Hi, I'm Jannette and this is Jeff. We're local real estate agents here in Sarasota, Florida, and we help families, retirees, and professionals find just the right home in Sarasota and the surrounding areas.
And we've made the relocation ourselves, so we understand the risks, the rewards, and the realities. In this video, we're going to break it down for you, help you decide if this place is a right fit for you. Let's kick this mule.
So Florida has some of the highest insurance rates in the nation at about $4,400 on average per year versus about $2,600 in other places. So yeah, insurance, your homeowner's insurance here can be high. In Sarasota specifically, you could be paying $4,000 to $6,000 a year, so it's even more expensive. And you may need flood insurance depending on if you're in a flood zone or not. Your lender could require flood insurance.
But if you're moving here for the boating lifestyle, you're going to live on the water, and that's where the flood is, right? So that's something we need to talk about. That's something we need to investigate. Is it a risk you're willing to take?
Now, not all homes need flood insurance, but if you are in a flood zone, your lender may require it. And some homes aren't even insurable. I mean, if you need massive renovations, costly renovations, to be insured, it might not even be worth it. Yeah. That's all about the financial side. Let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about what makes it worth it.
Sarasota is not just a pretty city on a postcard. It's a world-class beach vibe town. We have Siesta Key, which is world-class. Not only is it a stunning area to be in, but it's totally accessible. There is no fees to enjoy what Florida has to offer in Siesta Key. It can get crowded though. We were just there today, and I'm telling you, everybody with a car, anything had wheels was at the beach, it seemed like. And there are places that, not everybody knows about. Turtle Beach would be one of those. So it's a little harder to find. Coarser sand beaches, but man, you have elbow room, some breathing room. You can actually get out and enjoy playing in the surf. Nokomis, another fine town. It's famous for its, what do they call it? The drum circle?
Oh, the drum circles. Every Wednesday and Saturday. Yes, they're 2 hours before sunset.
And enjoy the drum circle or get in touch with your primal self.
They have a drum circle at Siesta Key too.
Oh, there you go. Venice Beach. It doesn't get much nicer than Venice Beach. If I was going to live anywhere than where I live right now, it would be Venice Beach. The drive up to the beach is a canopy of trees over the road providing shade. There's banyan trees along the main street walk. You can't go wrong with Venice.
It's got that small town feel. It's got that Spanish architecture. Love it.
But not all beaches in Florida or in these two counties are dog friendly. So that's something to be aware of. If you're taking the pooch with you, I can show you where to go. But Siesta Key may not be the right place to take Fido. But what happens when everyone else has the same idea? Now, I lived that this morning.
Tourist season isn't just about crowds. It's life-changing. Peak season from December to May. Everything's popping around here in Sarasota. Everything becomes jam-packed. We're talking the roads, the restaurants, even going to the grocery store seems like mission impossible sometimes. Beach parking, forget about it. We just went to the beach today. It was horrible. There was no parking, totally crowded. If you live here full-time, you're gonna wanna avoid the beach at all costs during the peak season. It is just way too crowded.
At least on the weekends. You might have to find some time on a weekday.
Yeah, if you can go during the week, probably a lot less crowded. The flood of tourists that come here every year can affect things that you normally use, services that you use. So like if you've got hair appointments, nail appointments, eyelash appointments, ladies, you're gonna wanna make those like 2 months in advance before peak season, because you might miss out because it gets so crowded here. We need our ice splashes. During the winter months, you're just gonna need to learn and to exercise patience because there's a lot of people. We're all trying to go somewhere, and not everybody's in a good mood because, crowded, it's hot, and people are cranky. So exercise a little patience. Turn on the music, be happy. But with the flip side of that growth comes incredible opportunity.
Sarasota is not a one-size-fits-all kind of place. It's got the quiet neighborhoods and the easy streets for retirees if you like walking the block. If you work from home, remote work, it's got the infrastructure that you need in most places, the Wi-Fi, the high-speed internet. We've got access to the airport if you need to fly out of town and be there in person. And it's all just minutes from the beach. That's the beauty of it. Another thing about Sarasota is it's not just the beach. It's in town and it's out of town the further inland you go. So you actually get 3 separate flavors of Sarasota. You get that lovely beach vibe that got you here. You get that hometown, Main Street working vibe. And then you can get out into the country to the tomato fields, the potato fields, where you want to go hunt some wild turkey that's not in a bottle. I can show you where both of those are. And while the lifestyle is flexible, the weather, not so much.
Florida is paradise. Until July hits, then that's when the humidity kicks in. There is humidity here, not gonna lie. It feels like you're wearing a warm, wet blanket all day and you just wanna shake it off. You always wanna take a cold shower, and the humidity is just something that happens. But it's not all year long. I mean, it's probably from July through September. So the AC runs nonstop, and so will your utility bills. The average cost of keeping a home cool is gonna be about $300 a month sometimes. Expect some high utility bills. And speaking of AC, you're gonna wanna make sure you keep that condensation line cleared out, because it does get clogged up. Florida sludge is a real thing. You need to make sure that you keep that condensation line clean, because if you got no AC in summer, mama's not gonna be happy. And if mama ain't happy,
Nobody's happy.
so keep your condensation line clean and everybody will be in a good mood. Outdoor life during the summertime really tends to slow down. Not a lot of people spend time outside. So your dog walks are gonna be done early in the morning or really late at night when the sun sets and things kind of cool off a little bit. You're gonna find that your neighbor might need to mow his yard really late at night, so don't call the cops on him. You can run your lawn equipment in Sarasota and Manatee County until 10 p.m., believe it or not.
Take him a cold beer and tell him how much you appreciate the way he takes care of his lawn.
Outdoor life just does slow down a little bit, and if you're planning on playing any sports, forget about it.
Indoors is the place to
Indoor,
be.
yeah. Find a pickleball place that has indoor pickleball, indoor basketball.
Or the gate opens at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, you want to be out of the sun as much as possible. Luckily, Sarasota has a cultural scene that makes staying indoors not so bad. Tell them about it, Emmy.
Well, it's not all flip-flops and frozen drinks, I can tell you that. From the Ringling Museum to live opera to the ballet, there's even downtown art walks through the center of town. It's a vibrant cultural scene here. Don't see a whole lot of cowboy hats, but you will see them from time to time. Foodies, you'll feel right at home. We've got the freshest seafood from the Gulf of America. We've got global cuisine from Cuba to China. And we've got weekly farmers markets that are social events more than errands. You'll have a good time. Fresh local honey, fresh local produce. You can't hardly go wrong. And with year-round events from art festivals to live music, there's plenty to find to do here, especially after dark when it's nice and cool. But if you're working remotely or raising kids, the next one might be the most important one of all.
Not every Sarasota zip code is future-proof. What I mean by that is the cell service. Some of these neighborhoods don't have, or some of these areas don't have really good cell service. For example, Lakewood Ranch. People complain all the time about the dropped phone calls and they just don't have good cell service there. Well, it's because there's not a lot of cell towers there. And the residents there don't want cell towers, a lot of cell towers there. So it's kind of tug of war, you know? You got to have cell towers to have good cell service, but they don't want to look at those. Some places have slow internet. So if you're somebody that uses Zoom regularly, you're going to want to make sure that you investigate and do your homework and research to see whether or not the neighborhood that you're choosing to live in has good internet service. So speaking of new construction neighborhoods, you're going to find that some of these newer neighborhoods don't have the infrastructure in place yet. So it might be like a little 2-lane road coming out of the neighborhood or out of the main area. Or out of the neighborhood into the main area. So basically, you got to be patient. You know, infrastructure is catching up. and they may not even have high-speed internet in that area. That's why where you live in Sarasota matters, and some areas offer real peace of mind.
Does that segue over to our tight-knit, safe communities that once you settle in, you're never going to leave? That's a pretty good description of Sarasota. Why? The neighborhoods are calm. They feel safe. It's perfect for slowing down and chatting to your neighbor at the mailbox or as you turn the corner. There's definitely a sense of camaraderie here. When the weather's good, you can hear the pickleballers behind me. But when the weather's bad, as we talked about before, everyone comes out to pitch in. Do you need help with your shutters? You're going to have a friend there across the street that's going to help you with your shutters. You'll see driveway, I call it driveway drinking. Somebody will put a fire pit in their driveway and everybody will pull a chair over and we'll have a cold barley pop, talk about the day, what we got going on this weekend, or the Florida Gators beating down the Houston, whatever they're called, in the NCAA tournament Monday night. Where we came from, back in Washington State, everyone was bundled up, had their hand over their cocktail to keep the rain from, watering it down, and you just rushed to where you were going. You never spoke to your neighbor. I lived there for 20 plus years, and there's just a handful of people in our neighborhood that we knew. And it's just a totally different vibe here. I've brought back waving. My dog and I sit in our driveway alone, and I just wave at you as you drive by. And I've noticed now that everybody says, "Good morning, Jeff." It's like, who the heck was that? Because we haven't met yet, but I'm friendly enough just to wave, and it makes such a difference. It does to my day anyway. I'm sure it does to the people waving back as well. So if you move to Sarasota, you're going to connect with some fine people, neighbors, strangers alike. You're going to love it here. But you're also going to connect with some of the Florida critters. Believe it or not, we've got a living dinosaur down here. Some of them are big, some of them are small, but you're going to meet them all.
While the sunshine is real, so are the critters. The snakes, the ants, the alligators, and everything else that goes bump in the night in your yard. Not even in the night, sometimes during the day. So Florida is the real life Jumanji. Every time you leave the house, you might feel like something wants to eat you. We've got mosquitoes, we've got fire ants, we've got no-see-ums. Do you even know what a no-see-um is?
You'll never see them coming.
You'll feel them, but you won't see them. We've got wild pig. In some parts of Florida, there's even bear. So we've got a lot of things going on here. We've got venomous snakes. We've got alligators.
Alligators are a cross between chicken and fish, so don't be bashful. They taste yummy.
We've got sandhill cranes here.
Which are the ribeye of the sky, but they're protected here, so don't shoot them or run them down in your car.
They may be the ribeye in the sky in Texas, but not in Florida.
Now, they're protected in Florida.
But if you do your homework, there is a major upside to living here too.
Yeah, even with the heat, the outdoors is the major perk for Florida, in my humble opinion. One of the best things is you can live outside all year long. Even if you fall in the water, you can live in the water for over a day without hypothermia. Where I came from, 15 minutes after you went overboard, you were looking for medical attention. That's the difference between 80-degree water and 52-degree water.
You might get eaten by an alligator.
You could have gotten eaten by a great white shark back there, or I could get eaten by an alligator. At that point, does it really matter who's eating me? Whether biking through the shady neighborhoods, paddleboarding along the Gulf, we've got trails, we've got parks, we've got scenic preserves, we've got the intercoastal waterway, we've got world-class golf, we've got world-class kiteboarding. There's not much you can't get into in Sarasota. It literally is the full-time fun zone. Now, what about the cost of living? It's not what you think.
Florida is known for its no state income tax.
Woohoo! Daddy approved.
But let's say that paradise does have its price. So you may find a home that you absolutely love in a community that has HOA dues. Not only that, you're going to have CDD fees. That stands for Community Development District. It's another fee on top of your taxes. There's also places that have a stewardship fee. That's another fee on top of your taxes. So these things tend to add up, so you gotta be mindful of the neighborhood that you're looking into and what amenities do they have and what's the price for living there. Also, you're going to want to know that Florida, when it comes to groceries, a little bit more expensive than the average in the nation. Also, gas in Sarasota is a little bit higher. So, if you can get your gas before you get to Florida, do that. Jeff says don't worry about it.
Fill that tanker truck up and park it out front. The HOA won't mind.
Oh gosh, don't do that. But yeah, so gas in Sarasota is a little bit more expensive. And the median home price in Sarasota is a little bit higher than surrounding areas like Bradenton or Parrish or Venice. So yeah, it is a little bit, you're gonna pay a little bit more for your house, your gas, your groceries, and your HOA dues. So still, for many people, it's worth every penny. And here's why.
But whether you're visiting family or heading out of town, everything is close. From Sarasota International Airport, and it's, again, beach vibe at the airport, to the international flavor of Tampa International Airport. You can get anywhere you want to go from Tampa International. And if you got to get your Magic Kingdom on, the House of Mouse is just 2 hours that way. Everything is close.
Living in Sarasota has its trade-offs, and for the right person, it could be the best move you ever make. So if you're thinking about moving to Sarasota and you want someone who's going to give you honest answers, a smart strategy, and it's going to put your goals first, give us a call. We'd love to connect with you. Call, text, or set up a Zoom call with us.
But come get you some.
We would love to help you find the right place to call home here in Sarasota.
Give me some.